Rachel Zegler has lost it again after the major boycott and outbursts over the release of a brand new Snow White trailer. The audience says she is not Snow White but Snow Brown. This Snow Brown is now at the center of an absolute storm that's threatening to engulf not just her career but also Disney's reputation, and honestly, it's a mess, and everything about this movie is wrong.
To believe that the evil queen is jealous of Snow White's beauty in this film. And I'm not the only one who seems to think this. If you could read the comments on this trailer.
Clips 1. I look at first off, Slur has been fired from multiple Disney projects, some live action, others animated, and even a few planned Snow White sequels. Yes, sequels. Disney was clearly banking on this reboot, but after Zegler's PR disasters, they hit the brakes and scrapped everything. It's like Disney is cutting all ties and trying to erase the whole thing from memory, but here's where things get wild. Rachel's response to all this, instead of stepping back and letting things cool down, is that she's in full-on meltdown mode. Ever since her controversial posts on X and her ongoing, let's call them PR missteps, it's been a freefall, and it's not just her, it's a ripple effect hitting Disney at a time when, let's be real, they can't afford another fiasco. Now we've got Bob Iger, Disney's CEO, or as some like to call him, Bob Iger, is scrambling to control this mega fallout. The company is already in rough shape thanks to his so-called cost containment strategy and questionable agenda. Add Rachel's meltdown to the mix, and it's like Disney is juggling grenades at this point. But let's focus back on Rachel for a second. She's reportedly furious not just at Disney but at fans. Yes, fans, the very people Disney depends on to buy tickets and watch their movies. Rachel's anger seems to stem from the massive boycott. Brewing against the Snow White remake, families who grew up with the classic are rejecting the reboot, and it's hitting Disney where it hurts box office expectations.
5 million views, except of course the problem is, this was captured roughly 16 hours ago. If I refresh it, and we look to see where it is now, it's over 500,000 with only another 2,000 likes.
Instead of acknowledging her role in this PR disaster, Rachel's doubling down. Behind the scenes, she's apparently been working with her agent and manager on a statement that'll take aim directly at fans. Yep, you heard that right, she's planning to call out fans for being the reason her career is in shambles. The thing is, this statement will label critics as part of a loud minority of so-called misogynists or sexists opposed to Disney's DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. It's one thing to defend yourself, but this feels like properly fueling an already raging fire, and Disney is making the situation even worse. Executives are urging Slur to backtrack on her plan because, let's face it, alienating your audience even further is probably not the move. Now if you thought things couldn't get worse, here's the surprise. Rachel's behavior has been raising eyebrows behind closed doors too. She's been on TI rides, yes, actual tirades, blaming fans for her downfall. Reports suggest she's even pointed fingers at the Snow White director, Mark Webb, claiming the backlash isn't her fault but theirs. Meanwhile, Disney is also in full panic and damage control mode. Emergency meetings are being held to figure out how to protect what's left of this project. They're reportedly working overtime to cover up the growing tensions between Slur and GDAU, which have only intensified behind the scenes. The irony here is that Disney keeps trying to spin this movie as a surefire hit, pouring more resources into promotions and damage control, but the more they try to fix things, the worse it seems to get. It's like watching someone dig themselves deeper into a hole and refusing to stop.
White comes from her skin being as white as snow. I am so sorry, Rachel Zegler does not fit that description. Create a new Disney princess so that you can showcase diverse talent without having to erase historical and cultural.
At this point, Zegler's decision to lash out at fans and go after critics feels like the nail in the coffin. Disney is pushing her to scrap this planned statement because they know it'll only drive more people away, and if Bob Iger and the Disney execs are panicking, you know things are really bad. It just keeps getting worse for Rachel Zegler, with the Snow White remake already drowning in backlash. Zegler has now decided to point fingers at fans again, but this time the risks are higher. She's furious. over losing a massive multi-million-dollar deal with Disney, one that could have earned her around $20 million across several projects. Instead, those opportunities are now dust, all thanks to the fallout from her controversial comments and social media blunders. Here's the kicker: Zegler isn't reflecting on her actions or acknowledging how her own behavior contributed to this mess. Nope, she's targeting fans, labeling them as part of a so-called loud minority of Snow White enthusiasts who've supposedly derailed her career. It's like she's following a script from a long list of Hollywood stars who blamed audiences when their projects flopped. Think Brie Larson, Takana Misani from She-Hulk, and others. The approach is tired, predictable, and frankly doing her no favors. Half-beat.
With Snow White here is another example of Disney trying.
And then there's Bob Iger scrambling, Ling, behind the scenes to clean up the mess. Disney has already poured a fortune into Snow White, but that doesn't seem to be enough. Reports suggest that reshoots and revisions are being planned to salvage the project, but the question is, how much more money can they sink into this thing before it's a total write-off? The backlash is relentless, with social media flooded by dislikes and negative reactions. This isn't just a Zegler problem, it's a Disney-wide catastrophe. The company's live-action division is taking a massive hit, and the optics are terrible. Executives and shareholders alike are left scratching their heads, wondering if this project can even break even, let alone turn a profit for Zegler, though it's a personal freefall. Every attempt she's made to defend herself seems to dig the hole deeper. What's particularly striking is how Disney had banked on Zegler being the face of the Snow White reboot. She was slated to lead the promotional campaign. Thanksgiving specials, Christmas performance, New Year's Eve appearances, you name it, but all of that has been scrapped. Those slots once meant for Zegler are now being filled by Gal Gadot, who's taking over as the movie's new promotional centerpiece, and it's not just the lost performances that are causing issues behind closed doors. Disney is making some plans to tackle Zegler's inflammatory behavior, but they are actually backfiring, and the situation has become so dire that some are questioning whether the movie's release should even move forward with his plan. The damage control efforts are exhausting resources and patience, leaving little optimism about the film's success.
It's non-consensual. He's sexually assaulting you. That was the initial complaint about Snow White. How they're going to sum that up and fix it, I have no idea. Please, please, please don't make it something where she's like asking him, or like it's her. She's the one who actually makes the kiss happen in the end. I don't know. It's going to be strange, whatever it is, though, and I can't imagine they're going to leave that in its original state for this live-action remake.
I just have a feeling this is going to completely flop. And I think you're right, they're abandoning the classic, story framework for this girl bossified version. People are tired of that. People are tired of live-action remakes generally. It's tough because every time they do make a new movie that's original, it's kind of following the same woke narratives that are.
Let's not forget, though, this blame game isn't new for Disney stars, and Trouble Seeger's ongoing refusal to take accountability shows the same narrative we've seen before: blame the audience, label critics with buzzwords, and hope it shifts focus from the actual issues. Unfortunately, for Zegler audiences, they have seen this playbook too many times to buy into it anymore, and the financial implications, they're staggering. Disney is reportedly funneling even more money into this project through reshoots and revised marketing plans, desperately trying to reframe the film in a positive light, but with every dollar spent, it seems the odds of a return on investment shrink further. The company's shareholders are undoubtedly worried, especially given Disney's other floundering projects like Captain America 4, which has also seen skyrocketing costs due to reshoots. The timing couldn't be worse. The holiday season is critical for movie promotions, and Snow White has lost its leading voice at a crucial juncture. Zegler's absence from live television spots and her inability to connect with audiences on a positive level is a major blow to the movie's visibility. Disney needed this project to succeed, not just to recoup costs but to rebuild trust with audiences after a string of underwhelming releases. And then there's the looming statement. Zegler has reportedly been working on a direct attack on fans, while Disney executives are urging her to stand down. It's unclear if she will, if released. Such a statement could further alienate the very audience Disney is trying to win back. The optics here are beyond terrible, and it's hard to imagine how Zegler recovers. From this saga boils down to one major issue: accountability, or a complete lack of it. Zegler's insistence on blaming others instead of reflecting on her own role in this disaster speaks volumes at a time when Disney needs to rebuild its fractured relationship with audiences. Her actions and attitude only serve to widen the divide now. Share what you think about Rachel Zegler and her desperate moves to destroy her career in Disney's $400 million project in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more details on Snow White and other Disney blunders. See you in the next one.